Okay guys, here we are. We're going to talk about the problem 2-23 in your book, which is right here. I have it on page 60, so you can just follow along. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the high-low method here. So the high-low method is just one way, as opposed to the least squares regression, to find the fixed and variable portions of any cost. So we have been given some information in our book in terms of the levels of activity at both the high and the low level. So hopefully you can see this. There's units sold and then there's shipping expenses. So all I do here for the high-low method, all right, and this is also explained in your book, is we're going to take the amount of shipping expenses in this case at the highest level. So that's the $210,000 and subtract it from the lowest shipping expense, which is the $119. Okay, and then what goes down at the bottom are the activity levels at those related dollar amounts. So for example, the $210 I happen to have found in the third quarter of the second year, and the units sold at that dollar amount were 20,000. And then I go up to the 119 and I can see that the units sold were 10,000. Now, usually at this level in accounting, you'll find that the highest activity level will correspond with the highest dollar amount, but not always. So just take your highest dollar, find the correlating activity, lowest dollar, and the correlating activity here. And then it's just a matter of adding and subtracting. Okay, so here I've got my $10,000 at the bottom, and 210 minus 119 is $91,000. And then to find that, I'll take the 91 over the 10, and I'll come up with 910. Now, that's the cost per unit. Oops, that's a 1. And then what I do is I just plug that back into either of the levels of activity. So I'm just for the sake of argument, going to take it at the 20,000, multiply that times the 910, and I come up with $182,000. Said another way, this is the variable cost using this variable cost per unit. That's the per unit that we just determined. So at the level of $20,000, my variable cost per unit is 182. Now we knew that the total cost was 210, so easy peasy to find the fixed portion, because we just take the total cost of 210, subtract out what we've just determined at the variable cost, and we come up with $28,000, and that's the fixed cost, the fixed portion of our variable. Okay, so that is step 1. Now, if we're going to put that into a formula, then we simply go y equals 28,000, which is the fixed cost, plus the $9.10 times x, x being the variable level of activity. Okay, and that's the cost formula. So that's the first portion of our thing. Now, the second part is simply to put this all into the contribution format income statement, which we learned in a previous exercise. So then we just take the sales, which they've told us how much the sales have been, and we take down all of the contribution format income statement, which I'll do in the second video.